I've got it. Okay, so I'll just backtrack just a couple of seconds. My name is Evelyn. I'm the organizer for this event, along with a few incredible friends. And we are just simply delighted that you have chosen to participate today, midday on Sunday, in this incredible event. You'll hear from my friends in a few minutes. There's Lena, there's Suzanne, there's Melissa, there's Casey, and we're like the team. So we're glad you guys are here. I'm repeating myself because I think it's incredibly important that people feel welcome. Before I go on, though, I want you to know that I'm not going to be the keynote speaker. We have
Yeah, I think that'd be
a
worse.
keynote speaker. If you guys could remain on mute, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. You will meet the keynote speaker in just a few minutes, but this is just an extraordinary time in our country, in our history, and it's all about our collective democracy. And today you will have an opportunity to hear what we have in common, what motivates us during this unprecedented presidential election. In the meantime, what we'd like you to do is to introduce yourselves in the chat. Just all we want you to do right now is just say where you're dialing in from and your name. All right. And as you're doing that, I'll share a few guidelines with you guys. We ask that you just remain on mute the entire time unless we have an opportunity for you guys to speak. There will be an opportunity for you guys to hang out in breakout rooms together. The structure of this event will provide you an opportunity to interact with each other in the breakout room for sure. Our goal today, and I'm going to say this very carefully, our goal today is not to debate issues. We are not here to debate issues. This event is also not for promotional information from anyone that's gathered here today. We will remain on our agenda, and that agenda is going to be about storytelling. And during the event, we ask that you not post any negative information in the chat. We don't need that today. Do not post any links in the chat about someone's character, whomever that you might have concern about that's running for a president too. We're not going to do that today. So just remember that our key focus is on storytelling. We're not here to debate whether he's right or wrong, whether she's right or wrong. That's not who we're going to be today. So at this time, I would like to introduce Lena Jackson, and she's going to share with you guys why she's passionate about helping Harris and Walz win this election. Take it away, Lena.
Good afternoon, everybody. I was very honored that I was chosen to share why I am so passionate about being involved with the election this year. First and foremost, is for my children and their future, and for the elderly, and for other people that are in the disabled community. I felt the urgency to speak up because again, my children, one is still underage, but one she's a young adult, and again, I wanted to encourage her to take those first steps in forming her election journey, being participating, being engaged in the election process. Again, I wanted to be part of history, and I wanted to be part of shaping our democracy. If we need to tweak it, let's tweak it. Let's ask those questions. Let's have those tough conversations. Let's lay it out on the table and move forward. So again, I took every opportunity to learn new skills. And I do believe that I am a change maker, and I'm just trying to be whatever I can be, doing whatever I am able to do for as long as I can. So again, I just want to save democracy and hope that the future is better for my children. So
Thank you, Lena. I told Lena before we logged on is that after this election is over, we're going to have a billboard with her name on it and her picture. She is an incredible activist, if y'all don't know. Seriously incredible. Thank you, Lena. Take it away, Suzanne.
Hello, everyone. Well, what motivates me is that I believe in democracy. Um, I believe that democracy is worth saving, that this country is worth saving. And if we lose this democracy, then we lose hope. As long as we have this democracy, at least with its shortcomings, we have something to struggle for. We know that we can still make this American experiment a success. So that is why I am so involved in this election cycle because I believe in the promise of America.
Thank you so much. So I know that Melissa joined. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that you're my friend, and I know that you're also very involved in what's going on. So if you would like to, speak for maybe like a minute or 90 seconds also on what you're doing to help this campaign, that would be awesome.
Sure. Thanks, Miss Evelyn. And I just have to give a shout out to my sister who's here, Leanne. So woohoo. Um, yeah, right now I felt really bad. I wasn't able to totally commit at the last minute with Miss Evelyn in this event because I am actually volunteering in the Democratic office in Sun City, Arizona, in Phoenix. So I've got my Harris Wall shirt on. And so we're in between shifts right now. Trying to get out the vote here in Arizona. So I'm just really glad to be here. I started volunteering actually the last midterm elections. Since then, you just can't get me to stop. So, and I've just been so blessed to meet all the people that I have found through the ARC conversations and through Move On and the Democratic headquarters and all different kinds of places. It's like y'all are my people and you're stuck with me. So let's do this. We're not
That's
going
awesome.
back. And then I'll probably like go on mute and then probably off camera, but I'm here.
Great. Thank you for showing up. That's what's incredibly important. Okay. And Casey, I'm not real sure if you want to say something at this time. I don't want to put you on the spot either, but Casey is like one of us for real, 100%. So if you feel up to it, Casey, take it away, girl.
I'll just say hello. I'm so happy to see you all. I don't have a ton to say because I've been going through it the last few days, but I'm just feel so lucky to be a part of this crew and that you all are working to help save this country and our democracy, and we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Miss Evelyn,
ladies.
for putting this together. I'm psyched to be here.
Thank you so much. So, so not to use any more time, I'll just tell you why I found it necessary to organize this event with you guys. I first hesitated. I'm thinking that's going to be a big venture. Here I am. I'm working with her campaign. I'm texting, I'm phone banking, those kind of things. But then the opportunity came for this event. I'm thinking, really? Ooh. So yeah, and I like challenges and ones that are kind of difficult to maneuver sometimes, but it's necessary. And so here we are. And I find that activism can be kind of like running a marathon with a lot of bumps in the road, but we know the finish line is up ahead, right? And so we're not stopping. That's what I had to remind myself of. The finish line is up ahead. I want to be there. And so here we are. And not only here we are, we're having this event, and I did not know that beforehand, but today is Kamala Harris's birthday, y'all. So what a day to have this kind of an activity on her birthday. And you know what? In her words, thinking about that marathon, when we fight, y'all can say it, we win. When we fight, we win.
We win.
And we're going to get to that finish line strong. And she also says, we're not going back. We're not going back. So to keep moving on, in July, I had the opportunity to attend the DNC, not the main stage, but I attended, I went there purposely to hang out where young people were hanging out. So I looked at all the assignments that were there and I'm thinking, I'm going to go to that event. I'm going to go to that event. So I went to all the hangouts where the young people were attending. And during this one session, it's called Youth Organizing Event. Afterwards, I saw this girl hanging out by herself, and people were talking. I said, she looks like she's quite interesting. Let me go and chat with her. And so we started talking and she told me about everything that she's doing. And, she's a senior in high school. And I just found her really incredibly fascinating. But the thing that I focus on is that she had a plan for what she wants to do, in life. She wants to get a quality education. She wants to do this, and it's all about people. And that always resonates with me. So it's my privilege today to present to you our keynote speaker, Maya Agrawal. She's a senior at Walter Payton College Prep and the founder of, listen to this, y'all, the founder of Gen Z Diaries. It's a blog dedicated to bringing light to the values, experiences, and beliefs of the young generation. So I was in the right place. And outside of writing, Maya finds joy in theater, singing, dancing, and bettering her community through service. It's not all about her. She's also people-focused. As a high schooler, she has many ambitions for her future. such as getting a high-level education and working in the realm of public policy. Can we beat that? I don't think so. So we're not going to even try. So Maya, this virtual stage is yours. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to hang out with us today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Miss Evelyn, for the very kind introduction. I'm Maya Agrawal, and thank you so much for ARC and Women for Harris for having me here, of course. I'm going to present a slideshow so that we can jump in right away. Okay, can everybody see this? Perfect. Okay, so we are going to be talking about the power of storytelling today. I think storytelling is a very important thing, especially when it comes to today's society where social media and the polarization of politics, society in general is just, it's at an all-time high, and storytelling brings people together. So we're going to talk about my journey in storytelling, why storytelling is important for the general good, and then connect it back to the Harris campaign. So first of all, who am I? I am a student at Walter Payton College Prep in Chicago, Illinois. It is the top high school in Illinois, and I'm a senior there. I love the school so much. The teachers, the community, everything is just so great. I started Gen Z Diaries with the mission to bring youth experience to the forefront. So when I was about in the middle of my freshman year, I decided to start a blog called South Asian American Teen Stories, which just brought the stories of my South Asian community to the forefront. But I soon realized that there's so much more than just, you know, your cultural background when it comes to telling your story. So I decided to expand this this blog and make it for all of Gen Z Diaries, or for all of Gen Z, for the generation, and the impact that I've had and the stories that I've gotten to tell and hear have been nothing short of rewarding. As Miss Evelyn said, outside of writing, I love to perform. I sing with my school advanced choir, and I've sang the national anthem for our football games before. I perform with my Indian dance team at school, and I've been part of the theater company at my school for 4 years. I also enjoy volunteering. I have volunteered with the nonprofit Indo-American Center, which basically is a center for immigration services such as healthcare, legal services, serving lunch for seniors, anything that you could imagine in that kind of realm. So Gen Z Diaries is obviously, I've already said, it's a blog that brings youth experiences to the forefront. And my mission with Gen Z Diaries is to tell the story of my young generation. I often feel like adults nowadays, they look at the young generation and they're like, oh, they're just too naive. They don't really know what's going on with the world. They don't have anything to offer. And that is far from true. The young generation has the power to bring insight about their future, which is incredibly important, especially when it comes to things like elections and politics, because it's our future that we are vying for here. So does it make sense to have an 80-year-old in the office? Probably not. Does it make sense to have 80-year-olds telling our stories or telling us when we matter? No, it does not. So I already talked about how I started Gen Z Diaries, but just to reiterate, it started as South Asian American Teen Stories and has evolved into this beautiful, beautiful blog with about 2,000 international readers. I have readers from China, from Europe. I have readers from, I'm pretty sure I have a reader from Kenya. Like, it is so cool to see this map and like people from all over the world reading my stories, because it's like, wow, oh my God, this is not just for Chicago's, it's like international, which is so, so cool to see. Okay, so let's move into the power of storytelling and what is storytelling. So to me, storytelling is the act of sharing a story using words or actions and is a form of communication that involves a storyteller and a listener. Obviously, the way I primarily tell stories is through writing and through literature and articles, but acting, singing, dancing, those are all forms of storytelling as well. So my biggest thing I would say, I've kind of noticed this trend, especially as I've done college applications this year, is that I'm a storyteller and that storytelling can come in so many different forms. And it's highly important to bring other people's experiences and everybody together and create a truly shared collective of ideas. So I just want to do a little bit of a reflection activity. So I want you guys to all think to yourself, how have stories, literature, news articles impacted your life? These are some questions that can kind of guide you towards that general answer. So the first question is, can you recall a time when a person, character, or scene from a story, fiction or nonfiction, changed the way you have thought about the world and yourself? Another question you can think about is, how have accounts from other cultures and backgrounds shaped your view of others, politics, and culture? Has writing or creating art ever helped you cope with difficult situations or emotions? How have stories motivated? Oh, that was not supposed to happen. How has stories motivated you to take action, whether it be through donations, awareness, campaigning, etc.? How has storytelling impacted your bond with and understanding of others? And how have you ever read a story, book, article, or anything else that has made you feel seen in a way that you have never felt before? So I'll give you about a minute to reflect on that. And if you would like, feel free to write an answer in the chat, and we can read your answer and see how storytelling has impacted you. I'll give you about a minute. Okay, so if you would like to add anything in the chat, you can, but I'm going to move on. So I would like to talk about how I can answer some of these questions. So for me, when I was writing my first story, it was about a peer of mine who has gone through countless surgeries as a young person. They started having health issues around the age of 7 or 8, I believe. Could be younger. I don't fully remember. And so she ended up going through many surgeries, having a lot of medical trauma surrounding that area. And so I wrote an article about her. I published it. It was one of my first articles that I had written and published. And soon after I had published this article, I had somebody reach out to me and they were like, "Thank you so much for publishing this story. My family, my daughter has Crohn's disease, and we have gone through so many doctor's appointments and procedures and things to figure out what is going on. And we finally feel seen with this story." And that was probably the most motivating thing to me, especially as I was kicking off my blog. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I actually allowed people to feel seen. I actually did something with this story. So that was just an amazing way to see how storytelling can truly bring a shared experience to life and really allow people to feel seen. For me, I love writing songs and other forms of expression. And so I love writing when it comes to just if I'm feeling overwhelmed or something. I love just writing pages and pages of my journal and literally just writing, stream of consciousness. And it truly does help with a release. And I think that writing can do that in a way that a lot of other things cannot. So what is the impact of storytelling? So to start, storytelling can lead to a form of connection between communities. So shared stories lead to people finding others who have similar experiences. As I've already described with this first story that I had published, somebody had reached out to me saying that they felt seen. People through storytelling can see that they are not the only ones going through a certain struggle, that other people are going through similar things, and this leads to just a sense of community and a feeling that you are seen. I think humans often, especially right now, people are really isolated in social media and COVID, obviously, the after effects of that. So storytelling truly creates a shared community and allows people to feel seen. And humans crave that visibility. They crave other people to see them and to feel like they matter. And so creating that connection through stories is really, really important. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I like to storytell. And so then that kind of leads into the next kind of topic about why storytelling is so impactful. Storytelling can lead to a sense of empathy for others. When you know what other people believe and why, or their experiences and struggles, it leads to more compassion. If you don't know that somebody is dealing with a divorce in their family, you're not going to show compassion to them. You might be like, why are they always in their house? Why are they not wanting to hang out with me? Whatever it is. There are reasons behind a lot of people's actions, and I think that we don't talk enough about it, and storytelling brings that sense of empathy to the forefront. In addition, it leads to advocacy. Writing has the power to spark change and raise awareness for certain topics, whether it be political, humanitarian, social, emotional, whatever the topic is. Storytelling can bring certain topics to the forefront. Think about what is happening in Gaza right now. A lot of the stories that people are telling about what is happening there and like the destruction and the humanitarian issues that are going on there right now. Nobody would really know about any of this without reporting, without people to share these stories and explain why this is important. And so this advocates for a bigger issue than just one person's story. It advocates for humanitarian efforts. It advocates for peace. It advocates for equality. It advocates for so many things that are larger than just one person or one person's story. And then obviously self-expression. Writing is a form of expressing oneself. Any art form is a way to express oneself. Writing can release emotion, show others what you believe, and provide an outlet in a way that other things cannot. I think that there are many different forms of art and storytelling that brings this self-expression to life, such as dancing. Like I said, I do Indian dance. I love just telling a story through the grace of Indian dance and through the vibrancy of Indian dance. Like it doesn't just show other people my culture. It doesn't just make me feel free. It truly does feel like I'm portraying a story and releasing something more than just dance. So now we are going to lead into the interactive activity of today's presentation. So we are going to go into some breakout rooms. I think we'll do probably about 2. I think there's about 22 people in this meeting. So we will do about 2 breakout rooms. I want you to take about 5, 6, 7 minutes, just write. It can be on a piece of paper, it can be on your computer, whatever it is. It can be any topic. It can be about the cup of coffee right next to you. It can be about your experiences growing up with a certain background, whatever it is. But I want you to relate that story to yourself. I want you to talk about yourself. I don't want you to tell the story about a tissue that has nothing to do with you. Relate it back to yourself. And it doesn't have to be cohesive. It can be just a stream of consciousness. A lot of times writing starts as that way. For me, a lot of times writing ends up just being that way. And that's a lot of like my style is very just stream of consciousness, kind of more casual. And it can be like that. It doesn't have to be professional. You're not writing a deposition over here or anything. So take 5 minutes to do that. And then if you feel comfortable with your group, share what you wrote. This comes back to the idea of telling that story, not just writing it, but telling it to people who care. And obviously, you're not going to be in this meeting if you don't care about telling your story or about other people's stories. So I hope that most of you would like to share with your group the story that you write. Obviously, if you don't feel comfortable with it, that's totally fine. You can react to other people's stories. Obviously, please stay positive and validate the other people. Don't bring in negativity, but respond and share your stories. And then when we come back, we will talk about how storytelling has an impact on the election.
Okay,
So-
Maya, I don't see the breakout room boxes on my side anymore. Do you see them on your side?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to do 2 breakout rooms. And I'll be coming through the breakout rooms to see how everybody's progress is going. Okay, I'm gonna give everyone another minute to make sure everybody comes back, and then we can get started with how the election and storytelling can relate. All right, I think most people are back. So I was hopping around the 2 breakout rooms that we had, and I was so delighted to see how many stories and diverse perspectives there were in this room here today. Listening to everybody's story, or I wasn't able to hear everybody's, but listening to some of them it was so rewarding to see how you guys can all share your stories and find shared interests and passions and stories together. So now we're going to move into how the election and storytelling can relate. Obviously, we're here for political events, so let's get into that. So I'm going to read you a quick excerpt, and I want you to think about where this is from. America, the path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected, but I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. My mother, Shamala Harris, had one of her own. I miss her every day, especially now. And I know she's looking down tonight and smiling. My mother was 19 when she crossed the world alone, traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist who would cure breast cancer. When she finished school, she was supposed to return home to a traditional arranged marriage. But as fate would have had it, she met my father, Donald Harris, a student from Jamaica. They fell in love and got married, and that act of self-determination made my sister, Maya, and me. Well, I love that I'm named twinsies with her sister. That's so fun. But we can all remember this speech from Kamala Harris's nomination acceptance speech on the last night of the Democratic National Convention. I remember watching this, and I was genuinely so inspired. I'm an Indian American. My grandparents traveled here from India. My mom was born in India. She came here when she was about 5, and my dad was born here. I've heard so many stories from my grandma. She's here today. Thank you so much for supporting me, Dadi. And I've heard so many stories about their travels here and the immigration. And when I was listening to Kamala Harris tell her speech, I was inspired, and I felt like my family was seen, and I felt that so many other middle-class families in America and so many other Indian Americans and immigrants could be seen by this speech. She goes on to talk about her life growing up in California, about Miss Shelton, and about other people who have inspired her throughout her life. And I think this is just a great way to segue into the fact that storytelling can truly, truly impact a campaign for the better. So storytelling in elections, I kind of came up with the 4 most prominent things that I saw it doing when it comes to the election, especially now. So storytelling can humanize the campaigner. Telling the story of one's background personalizes the campaign. As I just read the excerpt from her speech, Kamala Harris brought in her own experiences and her family's experiences to truly humanize herself and make others feel like they could be seen, and that she is just a normal person who came from a middle-class family, who is going to be working for the middle class and for all of America. And truly what I think hit home that point is the fact that she is from middle class, and the fact that she was able to paint this story in a compelling way to show people that she is not higher than everyone else like Donald Trump thinks he is, right? She is at the same level, or she started at the same level as everyone else, and she wants to help middle-class America for the better. And using her story, using her experiences, she has been able to bring that story to life and tell people why this is important. And of course, this leads to a call to action. Words have power. Stories and articles can raise awareness for issues and mobilize voters. I don't know why it says outfits there. Must have been thinking about something else when I was typing that. But It can mobilize voters and it can bring a call to action. Thinking back to Gaza and Ukraine, how many people are thinking about what is going on there and taking action because of the stories that are being told about what is happening there, right? When it comes to politics and social issues, storytelling and raising awareness for these issues is highly, highly important. Of course, we have social media. In today's world, that is just one of the biggest issues. It's polarizing, but it also can bring a lot of people together. Storytelling can come in all forms. It can come in videos, podcasts, posts. Telling stories on social media opens the floor for discussion. It allows people to see other people's perspectives. It allows people to understand what is going on in the entire world, not just their little bubble in a small town area of Wisconsin, right? It opens the world to a melting pot where diverse experiences and cultures and backgrounds are combined. So social media truly allows for political and social issues to really come to the forefront. And of course, it can encourage voting. Storytelling can make certain demographics feel seen, leading to them thinking that their voice matters. I've already touched on this, but humans crave validation and they crave people to see that they matter. They crave that attention and they crave people to understand where they come from, right? So if a person feels that a campaigner sees where they're coming from and who they are, they're more likely to come out and vote for that person because they feel seen. They feel like their voice matters. And that is extremely important, especially in right now's election where every single vote matters. Every single vote, especially in those swing states in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, and Michigan, every single one of those votes matters. And making sure that everybody feels seen and everybody knows that Kamala Harris is going to be for them because she came from where they came from is extremely important for today's election. So that is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat, and I encourage you to tell your story. Thank you so, so much for listening and participating in today's discussion.
Thank you, Maya. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So appreciate you and your time, and just your presentation style is just wonderful. I really appreciate it. So we're going to move now into the next steps, call to action. And as I said earlier, today is Kamala Harris's birthday, and what started yesterday and going through today is phone banking. They're trying to make 5 million calls for her this weekend. So I will hopefully drop the link in the chat for you guys. If you can register, if you can't register to attend yourself, if you can at least share the link with someone else that possibly can phone bank for her today, that would be awesome. So I'm going to see, I think this is going to work. Yeah. So that's for the phone banking one. Okay. And then another one that I have is a volunteer welcome. And I participate in this one, and it's where you can, the way they have it organized through their Reach app is so incredible. All you have to do is go into the Reach app and you choose what you want to share. We're the messengers for her campaign because we know I can touch people that I know, you can touch people that you know, and it's like a domino effect. Everybody knows people that are different. So if you guys can share this link for the volunteer welcome, just a second. That would be great. And what's going to happen is the first part of the training, they're going to introduce you to the campaign and all of the down ballot candidates also. That's the first, it's an hour event. And the last 30 minutes of this particular event, they're going to train you how to use the Reach app. Okay, so let me post that in the chat. Oh, that's the same one. It looks like you might be able to register for using the same link, I believe. Yeah. Just use, I think you could register. I'm going to post it anyway, but the links they're the same. And I think you're going to be able to access the phone banking and the event for learning how to use the Reach app through that very same link. And then the last one that I'll share with you is going to be their text team. I'm part of the text team. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I'll tell you why. Because I remember whenever she first started, and I joined the text team early on because I wanted to make a difference where contacting people to attend her events. And I'll never forget, she had an event in North Carolina, and we had just finished texting people in North Carolina. I'm thinking somebody in that crowd is the one who responded to my text. And so I just felt like I was really a big part of, I wasn't there, but somebody that I helped get there was there. So it's just, there's just a joy in doing the small things, but they end up being the big things because people are motivated. So I'm going to post that link in just a second here. Hopefully this is it. Give me just one split second. Well, you might not have that one actually, but if you would go, I don't know, I'm not sure what I did with it. But anyway, if you go online and look for, if you go to kamalaharris.go, everything is there. Sorry about that.
I have a question for Maya.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song or a favorite like get me pumped up song or anything like that?
Favorite get me going song. You know, I have to look at my Spotify for that. I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay. I was a former flute player. I guess once you're a flute player, you're always a flute player. So I definitely understand the connection with music and all that good sort of stuff.
Well, to answer your question, I love Roses by Jenna Rain. JENNARAINE. It's such an uplifting song. I love it so, so much. It's just, it makes me happy every single time I listen to it.
What inspires you other than the things that you're involved in? You're singing, you're dancing, you're writing, you go to a prep school, but what really inspires you outside of all that?
Well, I think I would relate it back to my family. My dad, he was the president of the South Asian Bar Association for a bit. He was the president of the Indo-American Center for a while. My mom, she was she's still on the local school council of my middle school. My dad is on the local school council of Peyton. My dad was the debate coach for me in middle school for my school. And I mean, watching my family just growing up, they were so committed to helping other people. And obviously, you know, I don't want to just do exactly what they're doing. So I kind of found my own way to do that. And then it kind of intersects with growing up, listening to my grandparents' stories. They would always tell the most inspiring, but also the craziest stories. One of the stories was my grandma telling me about how a monkey in India took a roti, which is like an Indian bread, out of her hand in the middle of India. So that's like one of the like silly stories. And then my grandpa's family was a leader in the Indian Revolution and was actually sent to jail for his work that he did with Gandhi and his protesting. So just all these kind of stories from my family and watching them do things for the community and lead people and serve people, I was really, really inspired. And I think just growing up around that environment, you kind of become, you kind of embody that as you grow up and you kind of see why it's important. So I really do attribute a lot of that to my family. And then just my community has always been so supportive of me and has always kind of told me like, you have the potential to like go out and do so many things. So that truly motivated and inspired me to keep trying, like to keep writing, to keep helping other people, because truly you can make an impact on one person's life and have an impact on and feel like you have an impact on the world, because impact goes a very long way, no matter how many people you inspire, you help.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else want to ask a question? We have a few minutes left. Or just words of encouragement for her.
Hi, I just want to say, not a question so much, but I'm inspired, Maya, from your enthusiasm and Just for Life. And it's encouraging to see that what the future generation, it's just inspiring. And you just keep shining. You're going to make a positive difference in the world. So keep on shining.
Thank you so much. That means a
You're
lot.
welcome.
I think it's really powerful what you said about people crave to be seen. You are spot on. And I think it's just so important because we're living in a time that is very isolating. We have all this technology, but yet we are very isolated. I think that the technology, while it's good in some ways, has helped to make people less patient and more able to be false. You can be who you want to be out here in social media. So I like the fact that you acknowledge that people want to be seen and want to be heard. And I think that you're a great leader for the next century. Hold on a minute. I'm sorry. Yes, for this upcoming century. I'm sorry, I had someone come on my porch. But you are a great leader for the upcoming generation. So keep up the good work and always remain empathetic. That's what we need. We need compassion and we need empathy. That is so important. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I really do agree that empathy and compassion can go such a long way in today's isolating world. And really allowing people to feel like their voices are heard is really important.
I was just gonna say that I second what everyone else said. You're amazing and you make me feel inspired, and I'm so happy that there's someone like you in the world doing everything you're doing. And how terrific this exercise was. Just writing our quick little stories and sharing was so much more powerful than it even seemed it would be. Just hearing a few people's stories and what they're doing and why they're doing it was really great. So thank you for leading us today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like it really can be underestimated how much storytelling can have an impact. And once you start doing it and once you start listening to others and telling yours, you start to realize the impact that it can have on other people. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Now, are you on TikTok?
I used to be.
Okay.
I decided to leave because I was like, this is not healthy for me. But if you would like to follow my blog on Instagram, it's called Gen Z Diaries.
Okay.
I love this so much. Everything that everybody said, and of course you're amazing, and it gives me so much hope for the future to think about you and all your fellow young people. I guess that sounds like such an old person thing to say, but I really tell me about your friends a little bit. Like, who joins you in this?
So when it comes to my blog, I mostly write by myself. I've interviewed countless people. I've interviewed friends and I've interviewed people who have literally reached out to me through my blog's Instagram. They have been like, hey, I want to be interviewed. I interviewed somebody from Texas about their experience founding a nonprofit called Unmute. But my personal friends, I've kind of had quite a journey when it comes to friendship. In middle school, because around 7th and 8th grade was when COVID was like at its peak, I didn't really have like a close relationship with a lot of my friends. I felt at the moment that I had a very close relationship with my friends, but I see reflecting that because I haven't been able to really preserve any of those friendships, which obviously I think friendship evolves a lot, especially in my adolescent years. Like it's just gonna change. That's kind of the nature of growing up. But I think I've seen now that that friendship goes a long way, and that connecting with other people goes a long way. So a lot of my friends now I've made through theater at my school and through choir at my school. That's my kind of primary friend group. A lot of them are very, very passionate about political and social issues. A lot of them are very, 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 very progressive. Some of them are more moderate. So it's really interesting to see all those kind of views intersect and clash, but also come together to create more compassionate dialogue, I think. Like when I was a freshman, my best friend is somebody who I really don't talk to anymore. But a lot of the friendships that I've had has really shaped me today and has really like guided me. And I think friends come and go in important times in your lives. My best friend that I have now, she is genuinely one of my favorite people in the entire world. It's actually a really funny story. We were debate enemies in middle school. She went to a neighboring school to mine, and we were always against each other in debate tournaments, and it was between us two for first and second place, and it was really funny. But now we're extremely close. She's my favorite person in the entire world. And I think that I have very different friends with all very unique experiences. And I think that has really impacted me today to kind of see how everybody has a very unique story. But at the same time, everybody has been shaped by similar experiences in society at the same time. So there's a lot of connection between that as well.
And so I'm looking at Elsie Craig. Would you like to ask a question or make a comment?
I do want to make a comment because I was at the rally in Grand Rapids on Friday, and it was epic. And the biggest takeaway was I met two Hispanic women in line, and as we became friends, because when you stand in line for 2 hours, 3 hours, it's a lot, okay? And they both admitted that they had no family and no one to talk to about their supporting Pamela. And we met more people that had that same issue. And I really felt for those people I met who said, my family doesn't know I'm here. If they knew I was here, they would be very upset. And I really had no words of what to say. I mean, that day was so great because it was 8 hours long and it was just an amazing experience. And I'm so glad I went, but I really did not have any skills to say to them, now we're going to keep in touch because you stand in line for 5 hours or something. But the point is, I really felt for them that they were going to go back. They are doing phone banking and they are doing door knocking. But I really felt in that moment how hard that must be, that they can't discuss any issues with their family. And they were basically sneaking out for an 8-hour day. So I just wanted to.
But you know what? You gave them validation because you listened to them. You gave them, they were able to discuss and talk about how they feel. And one thing I had to remind someone, I said, even though we don't agree with where people are coming from, we have to remember that they have a right to their opinion. And that's what we have to remember. Everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to freedom. We may not agree, but we still have to be respectful. So you gave them that dignity, even if you say, we're not going to keep in touch because, just 5 hours in line, but you gave them that dignity. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and I think when I hear stories like that, what I hear, and I often wonder, because sometimes when I'm on a plane, it's like, I don't know that person, but they want to share their life story with me. What is it about me that they want to share their life story with? And that's what I'm hearing with your story. There is something about you that created the atmosphere for them to feel safe talking. So I would venture to say that's not your first rodeo with people that are feeling maybe left out or not seen. So it's something very special about you also that you created that atmosphere for them to just talk. The 5 hours can create any kind of a setting, a situation. But when you walked into their lives, though, it's like you opened the door, you unlocked the door for them to enter and have that conversation. So I applaud you for that, because I think we have that opportunity to do that more often than we do. So yeah, I think we could do that more, because, but and I think we do it when we see them really as people and not as an adjective person. You know, we have to remove the adjective and see the person. And I think that's what you did. I'm just totally, it excites me. It motivates me. You know, because sometimes we walk parallel to people, but we don't intersect. Maya used that word a lot today. Intersect. We've got to intersect. And what you did was intersect. So thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me to this. It's been great.
We want to keep in touch with you too, though. So, you did you register through Mobilize?
You know what? I am getting so many texts. I think I registered through there, but you
If
can
you-
find me on LinkedIn as Lauren L.C. Craig.
If you register through Mobilize, I have your information. Would it be okay if we kept in contact through this group?
Absolutely. It's
Okay,
fine.
because we want to have Maya back. She doesn't know this yet, but we've got to invite her back. It was just the tip of the iceberg for today. I want to hear more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was brilliant. Did everyone that wants to speak get a chance to speak? Because we have a few more minutes. I know we can end early if we need to, but I don't want anyone to feel left out. Okay, I see Leanne came on. Leanne, feel free to speak.
Oh, I'm just glad to be a part of it today. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. Okay.
So Maya, have you been accepted to college? Do you have a dream school? Do you know your path in the next couple of months, and you'll be here before you know it?
And before you answer that question, she's a teacher. That's why she is here.
Yeah, it's my senior year, so I'm in the thick of it right now. It is very stressful. I would say that I know that I want to major in public policy. Obviously, that's going to change. And I am applying early decision to a school. Hopefully I get in. I'm very nervous, but I do think that at the end of the day, it'll work out, hopefully.
Okay, I'm going to pose a question to all of you guys, and then we'll close out. These words are coming from something that Kamala Harris wrote in her book. And one of the words is joyful, two of the words are joyful warrior and solution. What comes to mind when you hear joyful warrior? Don't necessarily relate it to her, because she's definitely that. But what does it mean to you? Okay. Take it away.
Though I think the second Wonder Woman stunk, and I have my 2 Wonder Woman Pez dispensers that live with me. My favorite line is when she says she has to decide the island, and go to the rest of the world. She says, "If I stay, who will I be? If I leave, what will I become?"
Whoa.
So leaving your comfort zone is where everything happens.
Yeah, we definitely need you to come back too. You're so inspiring. My gosh, I love it. Thank you. Anyone else? Joyful warrior or solution?
I think for me, joyful warrior kind of comes back to that idea of fighting for something because you care and because you love something, not because you hate something or because you think there's a strong issue with something. It's kind of like the best outcome is gonna emerge when you fight with passion and not with hatred.
Yeah, yeah.
It kind of makes me think of when I met you, Miss Evelyn, because when we were working together before 2020, there was so much angst and fear and whatever, and we got in our group working, and suddenly there became so much joy in the work we were doing together and that whole crew that we had going. And it was just a living example of why that joyful warrior piece is so important and how it fills you up and keeps you going and keeps you inspired.
Thank you, Casey.
So I have to agree with Casey. I'll go back to saying I think Miss Evelyn embodies a joyful warrior. And like I always will say, in July, when I was just beside myself when Biden stepped down, but it shows that, we don't know what's best. Sometimes, the universe knows what's best, but how Miss Evelyn pivoted as a joyful warrior, because she wasn't like, oh man, what's going to happen? She's like, oh no, we're going to do this, and this, and the other. And look at all that's coming down. I'm just on the internet, and I see all this positivity, and she was just being all positive, and we're not going to give that what happened with Biden stepping down, not one iota of negative energy. She just jumped right on the bandwagon and has been running ever since. Like, oh, I even woke Miss Evelyn up from a nap. She's like, oh, you know what? She didn't. Miss Evelyn had no idea for a minute what I was talking about. Then she heard we got on the internet. She said, "Oh, I see what's going on. That's not a problem. So this is what we're going to do. And yes, you're going to be involved, Suzanne." And blah blah blah. So she's a joyful warrior. Why? Because she did not. She just pivoted. She didn't just get stuck in. She just pivoted. So you're a joyful warrior, Miss Evelyn.
Totally agree
Oh my
with
God,
you,
guys,
Suzanne.
thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Blame it on my
Oh,
mother.
agreed.
Yeah. So I want to read you guys in closing. Thank you guys for sharing from your hearts. This has been so rich today. This is from Kamala Harris's book, The Truth We Hold, An American Journey. These are all quotes. And I just want to leave that with you today. She says, my challenge to myself is to be part of the solution, to be a joyful warrior in the battle to come. And she said, that's already an indicator. It's not going to be easy, right? She says, my challenge to you is to join that effort, to stand up for our ideals and our values. Let's not throw up our hands when it's time to roll up our sleeves. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. Years from now, our children and grandchildren will look up and lock eyes with us, and they will ask us where we were when the stakes were so high. They will ask us what it was like. I don't want us to just tell them how we felt. I want us to tell them what we did. And today we can look at this event that's so incredibly motivational. And we're going to not just leave it here on this Zoom. We're going to take it out there. We have stories to tell. Based on what Maya shared with us today, we have people to talk to and stories to tell. And we need to, as Kamala Harris is saying, lock eyes with them. Let them, when you look eyeball to eyeball with people, and my mother never allowed me to lower my head when I was talking to her. It was always eyeball to eyeball. Let's make a difference. We're a small group here. Numbers have never really mattered to me, but everyone that shows up matters to me. So you guys showed up today. And you know what? In the words of Reverend Warnock's father, get up, get dressed, put your shoes on. We got work to do. We've got work to do. How many days left as of today? 16, 17 days?
We have 16. It's 16.
16. We've got work to do. I'm not saying you guys are already working, because you are, but it's going to be a little bit more pushy now. We might be making 4 phone calls a day instead of just 1. Texting throughout the day instead of just one time. I'm speaking to myself now. But we have the opportunity to hang in there. We're not giving up. So Maya, I hope that the words thank you resonate a lot further than what typically we say thank you. Oh, thank you. I mean it much deeper than that. You are an incredible, incredible young person. And I really would like to continue this conversation at some point in time after the election, maybe into next year, and talk with you about what you're doing on your blog and podcasting and all that stuff. We have work to do. And also talking with you about the possibility of you becoming a partner with our art group.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Okay, we got to talk.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Maya.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
everything,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Nice having you.